Today, the European Central Bank finally showed that it is truly the European Central Bank. Against great political opposition, particularly from Germany and also from the Netherlands, the ECB has announced its most ambitious program thus far. It may probably have come 2 years too late. It may still not be large enough. And perhaps the scope and the design could have been better. But the fact of the matter is that the ECB has finally delivered on Mario Draghi's promise of the ECB doing whatever it takes to save the Eurozone. The fact of the matter is the Eurozone economy is dangerously flirting with deflation, and the ECB's core mandate, which it has set itself, is to deliver an inflation rate of close to but just under 2%. The inflation rate in December was minus 0.3%. If the ECB had not acted today, it would have been in grave violation of its core mandate. By acting, Mario Draghi finally stood up to Germany. Will this actually now take us out of the crisis? That is perhaps too ambitious an ask from what is actually still just the central bank. In order for the Eurozone to actually benefit from what will now be significantly looser monetary policy, governments must also relax purse strings. The policies of austerity must end. There has to be an increased focus on increasing confidence, on looser public sector investment rules, particularly using some of the space that the monetary loosening will give governments to increase public spending, and also to try and encourage animal spirits to wake up and encourage private spending. We will get a boost because the single biggest impact of the ECB's policy and promise today to buy up to 60 billion euros of bonds every month between now, starting March actually, until September 2016 at least, will be to depreciate the euro, which has already fallen significantly against the dollar and other currencies. This will give a boost to exporters. It will help increase inflation rates by importing inflation. And at the same time, as the ECB buys government bonds, asset-backed securities and covered bonds from existing investors and also bonds of the European Investment Bank, these investors will then either buy non-Eurozone denominated securities, reducing the euro exchange rate, or will actually put some of the money into riskier securities such as corporate bonds and equities, which have a more direct impact on reducing the cost of investment in the private sector. Governments will have more because they will save on the interest income of that part of their bonds that the ECB buys, and hence they should have more fiscal room too. It is possible, and we have already seen the effect, that the interest rates on government bonds has already fallen. This will also create more fiscal room. Now, will the ECB continue to act? I think for all intents and purposes, we can say yes. It is highly unlikely that inflation will pick up anytime soon. So for the most part, we can consider this to be an open-ended commitment of the ECB. Very importantly, Mario Draghi also mentioned that if there were to be further disturbances in financial markets as there were in 2012, the outright monetary transaction program, the OMT, that Draghi had announced with whatever it takes pledge, is still there as a backstop. So in fact, if financial markets were to go into a tailspin, the ECB has got even more room to act and buy even more government securities. On the whole, a good day for the Eurozone. On the whole, a good day for the European Central Bank. An excellent day for Mario Draghi, who managed to finally fulfill his mandate, at least in part, in the light of great opposition from Germany. Let's see where this takes us.